On this episode of Athletic Training Chat, we have Dave Rau, who is an athletic trainer who has gone through some things in his life, and that is what he shares with us. Dave is an amputee, and that started out early in his life, and he talks about how that influenced just how he interacted day to day in the world, and then also brought him into athletic training and how he still utilizes that story and his experience to influence how he cares for his patients. It's really an incredible story. We also talk about faith and how it is important to Dave and how he balances that in his professional and personal life and with those that he interacts with in his patient care. And really just Dave's got an incredible story for all he's done in the profession thus far and will continue to do as he is still going strong in the profession. So we really hope you enjoy it. Dave was one of the ones that reached out to us because he had a story he wanted to tell. We can't thank him enough for that. If you do as well, please reach out. Love to have a conversation with you. Topic is yours, and we will come up with some questions that get us started, and then it's a free-flowing conversation from there. So please consider reaching out. But without further ado, please enjoy this episode. Well, welcome to this episode of Athletic Training Chat. We are on with Dave Rau, who is an athletic trainer in Ohio, and we were just having conversations about all the heat they're dealing with right now compared to the rain we're getting. But I know Dave's followed us. I've seen him a lot on social media, but then ultimately took us up on our offer of we want to hear your story. And so here we are getting the opportunity to tell Dave's story, which just from our little back and forth and trying to get this set up, I'm very much looking forward to. Should be really an interesting one. So I appreciate you being willing to share that. But before we start getting too far into it, just wanted to turn it over to you to fill in a little bit of background of who you are and what you're doing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me. When I saw Joel's and ATCast pitch to give my story and give your story, jumped at it. As you said, I'm an athletic trainer in Northeast Ohio. Been an athletic trainer since '96. Been a GA. Been through that. Let's pause. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Joel. Okay. Hey, my name's Dave. I'm athletic trainer in Northeast Ohio. Been in Northeast Ohio most of my life. I did a little stint down in Memphis for a few years, but where I came from, Wilmington College grad, 95, and then Austin Peay State University with my master's in 97. Then why I became an athletic trainer. I think that's more of pitching to my story. I have neurofibromatosis, and also I'm an amputee. Main reason I became an athletic trainer is because I'm an amputee. I always like being active, trying to be active, but I didn't have the ability when I was younger to do that because of technology. So I thought, let me get into a profession that I can roll and help people that love to be active, love to be in the mix of things, and when they get injured or when they get downgraded, help them out and get them back to their profession, their activity, and their love of the game. So as I said, I'm an amputee, and I have neurofibromatosis, which was not really known to be the cause of the amputation, but learning it through the years, found out it was. And NF1 is hereditary. Two of my kids have it, and I'll discuss a little bit those later. but been 51 now. Lost my limb when I was about 2, and yeah, I grew up with it. It was second nature. I didn't have any people say, "Oh, how did you deal with it? Did you deal with this?" I'm like, honestly, I don't know. It's just all second nature. So I, growing up, it was, the wooden leg, the peg leg, and yes, it was. But as it advanced and technology advanced, they're awesome. I'm very functional now. I can get from point A to point B and sideline to sideline pretty good. So, um, going back to my education and work, it didn't really have that many challenges. I was, you know, still needed to do things, and going in the undergrad position, you still had to function. And I did again. Second nature, didn't know any better, and just rolled with it. And people joked with me. I think growing up, that's kind of how I dealt with it, was by laughter. And if you're getting made fun of, roll with it, make fun of myself, and go. You know, people would steal it and run away with it, and
Jeez.
maybe chase after them. So it's fun things like that. Even in college, they did that. But one story I will say, one fear I have is running across the sidelines and something happens that either the leg malfunctions, or I've had the ankle break before.
Sure.
And actually, it luckily it wasn't on the sidelines, but it was prepping for a triple header basketball game. And I walk out of my room and the athletic training facility, and I noticed something's not right. I slip, the entire foot fell off, and this is like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Game starts at 5 o'clock. I have no one around to help. That could get me to my prosthesist. So I called them up. They're like, if you get it down here, we'll figure it out. Actually, one of the coaches took the limb down, got it fixed, and within an hour later, I was back in action with it. So I was fortunate with the prosthesist that could do that.
Right.
It's like I said, that's one fear I had. But I use the limb as encouragement. Hopefully, a lot of people see me in khakis, see me in long pants. Then I'm in shorts, and they just kind of look at me like, "What happened?" And I give them the story and go with that. But I am deep in my faith, and with the NF, it was unknown, kind of, when growing up. But I did have a tumor on the optic nerve that was causing issues. When I was 4 or 5, they went in, did exploratory surgery. It was encompassed in the nerve, so it would make me blind if they removed it. It's, family, again, deep in faith. We prayed over it and said, close up and move on. And here I am, still doing fine. They did a check, and they see remnants of it, but nothing. As going back to my children, two of them I have 4 children. Two have the NF. One is minor minor issues and more development learning issues, but she's fine now. She graduated from Wilmington of Ohio with bachelor's of exercise science, and will be doing her master's of athletic training at Heidelberg in the summer,
Very
starting
nice.
then. My youngest did have some issues. They found a tumor on her optic chiasm, and 2016 she went through 18 months of chemo to take care of that. They wanted to see if that would remedy it, and it did. She's great. She's going to be a freshman in high school in the fall. Everything's fine. Kind of rolling with that. So I'm fortunate that they're all okay. But as an athletic trainer, um, we see people at the highest and lowest,
Right.
and I think it's that that way that we build those relationships. Yeah, learning it, and early on, we just said, okay, an athlete's an athlete, move on, take care of them, close the door, next. And well, when I in '99 was struggling where I was at, working and just wasn't getting. I was more just going in, doing my job, and not. I'm sorry for the words. I was enthused about it. I loved it, but I just wasn't there. So I needed to move on.
Yep.
My girlfriend at the time, wife now, we been together since '98, and saw a position in Memphis. It was athletic training in the inner city and working with youth ministry. So I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. She's like, worst they can do is say no. Send a resume. But week and a half later, get a phone call, phone interview, and prayed over it, looked at it. Yeah, worst they can do is say no. Well, after the interview, they called and said, well, you want the job? Like, okay, moving from Northeast Ohio down to Memphis. I had no idea where I was going. No idea where to live, nothing. They sent me some stuff and said, you don't want to live here. You want to live here. This is an okay area. Moved down 3 weeks after the interview started, and we were down there for 3 years. That's where I really sensed the athletic training and athlete um, relationship. Because you see them at their lowest when they get injured or when they having struggled within the athletics. And with the youth ministry down there too, linked up, we could see them in different avenues. And I think that's where it's okay to have that professional relationship with an athlete. Uh, and you not just ask them, are you okay? And then say, we go, are you okay? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and go with that. I think it's a fine line that we face because
Definitely.
we do see folks in and out, but I think it's there. It was that was a 3 year stint working with Memphis Athletic Ministries and Streets Ministries. The Streets Ministries was in the school I was at. I was at Booker T. Washington High School. It was inner city Memphis. I met some great people down there. Worked with good athletes, and was professionally it allowed me to grow. Moved back to Ohio in '02, and I've been at Valley Forge High School and University Hospital, Brzezinski Sports Med since. It was at when I first came back, it was just Parma Hospital, but then they merged and went with University Hospital. It's nice to see the students, since I've been there long enough, see students in and out, and now I'm seeing their kids coming in and doing almost full circle. But it's that relationship you build. I think I'm blessed to have that. Both my kids all graduated from Valley Forge, and now I have my youngest is going to be a freshman there next year. So professionally, I think athletic trainers need to get involved in their state association, and even if it's just on a committee, even if it's just helping out with secondary school committee or uh, diversity committee, get involved, get get those professional relationships and the professional bond set, and that can help out in a lot of ways. Um, I'm fortunate that I am involved in the Ohio Athletic Training Association. So served as on various committees, and then served Northeast Ohio rep, was district rep, was VP in association affair for 2 terms, and now I'm on various committees and Atlas ambassador with NATA, and also working with our secondary school committee and LegCom. But the group of professional friendship that I've gained within the OATA is amazing. We have those core group of ATs we can just, or friends, I would say now, we can just call on, text, call, and we have that check in and that
Right.
check and balance. So I'm just again I'm blessed to be where I'm at, and I know I kind of jumped all around, but I being the amputee is that yes, it's a challenge. Yes, it's a hindrance at times, especially with the heat. But I'm here, I'm there, and I like to use it as an education tool. I don't mind people asking. Uh, if I'm out in public and there's a little kid that asking parent, what's going on? What's that wrong with that guy's leg? And sometimes parents will shush them away. If I do that, I make eye contact with the parent and I go up, ask the kid, "You have a question?" And minute or two, they ask their questions, and you just see the shoulders on the parent melt. It's like, okay, and someone say, okay, and just move on and no question. And others will say, see, you asked a question, you learned something today,
Right.
and it kind of made them that. I do speak at the high school in the health classes about adaptability and what I what I did growing up and how I adapted, and use that as more of an education piece. There was a student that was an amputee herself and talked to mom, and she's like, "Can you go in and talk to health classes on acceptance and adaptability?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And now she's saw that person's sophomore in college, so it's been a while. Oh, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, you kind of touched on it, but I wanted to see if you just could even go a little bit deeper. Obviously being in the healthcare AT and any other one, it's a it should be an empathy driven, profession, and I noticed that myself even working in clinic, where people come in and what's second nature to us and maybe doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's truly impacting their lives. Like you got to be able to try and you're never going to put yourself in their shoes, but ultimately, try and at least be sympathetic to that and like understand it. And have you just seen or how have you used everything you've gone through, what your kids have gone through, in your work as an athletic trainer, when people are struggling with stuff? Sometimes I don't truly wish this, but I say it like, maybe it would have been nice if I had torn my own ACL, so I could have just had the experience. Like now I can say I know where you're coming from, at least to a degree. Like I've broken a bone and had to be in a cast, and
Okay.
it wasn't when I was playing sports, so I was very fortunate to not be injured. Um, but you've got a whole different view of the world from everything that you've experienced, and I didn't know if you found unique ways to utilize that to help encourage people or help them get through what they're getting through.
Yeah, at times, I do work a little bit in the clinic and seeing patients and trying to talk them through their functional. Say, okay, you just have to take it step by step, day by day, and try to adjust. Going up and down steps, or if you're here, it's just little bits and pieces each day. Um, with athletes, I go and say, okay, here's your challenges. Here's what I went through. I adjusted, made those feats, and set goals, and just don't say, okay, I want to run a 5K. Well, let's see, I want to I want to run a 400. I want to go. I want to run. I want to walk. I want to go up and down the stairs. I want to go up and down ladders, and do those bits and pieces. And there's times where I'm working with patients, and I, you they don't know. I'm in long pants. I'm in khakis. They don't. It's not visible. And 2, 3 weeks after they're coming in, and then they maybe see me in shorts or pant leg pulls up, and they're taken back. And same way even with athletes, they see me. They're a winter sport athlete, and all they see me is in long pants and khakis and dress clothes. They may not know because it's not visible. Then they see me in spring and I'm in shorts. And one's like, I had one just last week kind of pointed out, what happened? They're just kind of taken back by it, and like, well, it's like, when did that happen? I told them many, many years ago, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. I think it's just some of them use it as they look at me and say, okay, you struggled through that. I'm not going to complain because I have my ankle hurts or my knee hurts and I can't go up and down stairs, bro. And there's like, okay, I'm not going to complain. But I think it's that empathy that I looked at, and I grew up with it, had challenges, and learned from that. And I just try to relate that to my athletes, to my patients. That we do have struggles, do have challenges, but we can go from there and just take it day by day and step by step.
And sort of tying into that, you mentioned faith a couple of times, and everything that again you've gone through, working in Memphis, where you did there. I guess I shouldn't assume, but maybe will that Valley Forge is public for
Yes.
a high school, and so obviously everybody has their own take on faith and what that means to them. How do you build that into what you do as a professional, from your personal life? Do you keep it separate? Do you bring it in? Is it very case by case? Just as speaking as someone who is not overly, religious in my life, but and hasn't ever worked at a religious institution. I just haven't been exposed to that nearly as much. But I was just curious how you balance that with
Yeah.
the people you work with.
It's I I'm open if they have questions. I will be open to it, but I'm more the encouragement. But I Valley Forge is a public school. It's a community-wide school, so kind of all know each other, and I'm not forceful on it. Again, if
Sure,
I'm asked, I will share. Since my kids go there, just kind of direct direct athletes to them, and we have members of our church that go there, so we can direct them there. And again, when I was in Memphis, it was a public school as well, but the streets ministry that was in place, they did tutoring, mentoring, worked on college prep, and they were already in place in the school by the time I got there. Uh, but now it's being open, and again, if they ask, yes, I go to church, yes, and have my faith, but I'm here for you. Um, Athletes are pretty open as long as they know I don't have any hidden agenda. Um, I'm there for the athlete.
for sure.
So I think it's just being open, but yet not overdoing it. So yeah,
Isn't that the case for everything in the world
yeah,
now? Being
exactly.
open but not overdoing it.
Yeah, and I've learned over the years, and a couple of my athletic training colleagues that we work with in OATA, it's okay for us to tell a kid I love you. It's okay if they need a hug. You sense that, let's move on, and that may be all they need at that point in time. Um, I knew there was one time I was walking down the hall, had one of my athletes walking down. I could tell something was up. I said, "You okay?" Came up, give me a big hug. I'm okay now. Thanks for asking, and move on. And of course, I'm worried that, okay, it's on camera, it's on that. Call parent, called mom, she needed it. You're fine. Move on. And it's that, again, it's that fine line we all have, and we just need to be professional about it.
I think that that story is such an interesting point of like you were so concerned and like humble about like, oh no, like how did this get perceived while doing, something really nice, but that sets you up that like, yes, if you're that aware of it, you're most likely gonna, make sure that you're doing stuff that is
Right.
within, the confines of being considered, safe. Obviously, it's all at the perception of the person that it's with. But I think, yeah, that's such a great approach of that your immediate concern was, oh no, like and just trying to be careful. And that is very understandable.
Yeah. And kind of swing back to my youngest, going through chemo. That was, I mean, we were blessed. We had great physicians and people at the hospital. But another side effect of NF is scoliosis.
Mm,
And she was going through, had various x-rays, and looked, and they finally decided, okay, surgery's needed. That was end of 19, early 2020. So was getting ready, and it was March of 2020. The doctor said, yep, we're ready for surgery, we're going to do it. And March 17th of 2020, they did surgery. And doctor said, we have to do it. I don't care if they're saying we're shut down. We're doing it. And she had straightening rods put in. Everything shut down that day.
oh man.
And we were like, doctor said we had to do it because I had everything in place, and it was things that could not get changed. And just looking at that, she was supposed to be in the hospital for 3 days. And they told us that if you can walk up and down the stairs and walk down the hall, we'll let you go because you're safer at home than here. We don't know what's going on.
Right.
And she did. She did all that and recovered at home. But yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where you just remember that in time. And I'm like, wow, it's, to think, that may not have happened. Get it done. Like I said, she's doing awesome. Everything's fine on it. And they did an MRI recently, and tumors has shrunk. She's just normal kid.
That's awesome.
So
One more question I had for you.
Yeah.
You referenced the stuff you did with the state association. Depending on who's listening and what people follow around social media, there's always, I'm sure, been questions about are the things going the right way. It seems to be heightened more so now, on just what's my money going to, everything, like what's the reason for volunteering. And as you had mentioned, at 51 you've been in the profession for quite a while. I'm about to be 38, I think, here soon.
Yeah.
So not about half as long, but more so got into professional service the last 4-ish years. I'm just curious, obviously you found value in it. How do relay that to like younger athletic trainers, or, try and encourage them that like it's not for everybody, obviously, but here's why it could be important to you. Here's where some of the benefit may come from, and just all of your experience with it.
Right. Biggest benefit is the camaraderie, and you learn from others. You have seasoned athletic trainers that have been in the profession 30 plus years, and you're, elbows to elbows with them, and you can call them up. Hey, I have a question. Have you seen this? And yes, you can do that without the association, but being in association makes it easier because you have that access. And then also need to look at it as a whole, that when insurance and CMS is looking at numbers, they say how many of your certified athletic trainers and your colleagues are members of the association, and it's power in numbers. And they'll see that not that many are, you have this many certified, but only this many in the association.
Yep.
That power in numbers. But it goes back to, and then serving. We just want to give back to the profession that has allowed us to do what we love to do, and help with that and make it grow, carry it down the road. I know we have challenges with other professions, but the old saying goes, let's play nice in the sandbox.
Right, right.
Get within the association, find out what's going on and what challenges that are out there. Some may not know what all is going on. Be involved, be a voice, and when you have voting come up, vote on those. If you don't vote, you don't have a say. And it's just in general politics. Can't complain if you don't vote. Your complaints aren't going anywhere. But with our profession, I think it's that camaraderie, that building the access, and having people available. And you look at a position opening, and you think, oh, I know someone that would fit that role. Meeting the young ATs, and you're at unfortunately, I don't make too many national. I don't make very many national conventions. Try to go to GLADA when I can, but I always go to the OATA, and meet those young folks. Get them, get them involved. Get them. Hey, you like to, be in the diverse committee. You want to be in the secondary school. Let's get them in the secondary school committee and encourage them to go and see what's there. And I had, fortunately, I had someone that kind of pulled me in and said, "You're a good role. This will fit well." And moving forward, I think it's just those step into the profession and let's make it a little better than what it was.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest thing. Like, if you want to see some of the change, you got to get involved. Try and get a quote unquote seat at the table, if you will. And I don't
Right.
know how it necessarily. I've only really done it. I've only done it in the state of Wisconsin. But each position I've held, I ran unopposed, so it wasn't like it was difficult for me to get into those roles, which may be different from state to state. But like you had mentioned, getting on a committee, and it really feels to me, especially at the state level. I haven't worked at regional or obviously the national, but at the state level, if you're willing to put in some time and effort because you feel passionately about something, you're probably going to make a pretty significant impact, just because that's what everybody's looking for, someone who wants to make that impact. So if that's something that, for people listening, like you really want to chase after, highly recommend, starting at the state level and then, seeing what that might look like advancing beyond there.
Right, exactly. And I mean, you can go look up on your state website, do the universal interest form, say I want to be, here's a couple committees I want to be on. Find someone on the executive committee and put a bug in their ear and say, hey, I want to do something. And they will find a place for you.
That they will.
And it all depends on how much you want to work and how much you want to give. They'll find a place for you.
Anything else we haven't covered that you would like to touch on before we jump into the AT chat questions?
No, I'm fortunate just to be an athletic trainer. I'm not like just an athletic trainer. I'm an athletic trainer,
For sure.
and that's my profession. That's my livelihood. yes, I've had challenges, but they're ways to ways to overcome and move forward. And the hurdles in life can be experiences, and moving on from there. So I'll let you ask the questions now.
Well, first one is, where do you see athletic training going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think it's going to be a joint effort with other professions, and we're going to have that teamwork approach getting back, and we're all going to be on the same, hopefully on the same level, and working with the healthcare providers, the physicians, the maybe even the minute clinics that were there, working with the other healthcare professions, PT, OT, and let's all one common goal, and trying to help insurance companies decrease cost on ER visits, on those maybe unnecessary urgent care visits, trying to work with that, and hopefully it's on a soapbox is get an athletic trainer in every high school, if not two.
Right.
Having us available for the school. And but going off of what you said the other day, um, give the using our services, not being just a servant,
Right.
not
Right.
coming in doing the thing, and you telling coaches, okay, I'm here for the athlete and you, but you need to extend a little bit of courtesy with me as well, and you communicate. But I see that coaches are coming along. I think let's again where our profession is going. We all need to work together.
Absolutely. What advice would you go back and give yourself as a young athletic trainer? And if you could set when that would be?
Get involved earlier. Not just kind of wait around and yeah, I'll get it someday. And challenge yourself and step outside your comfort zone. Do being available to speak, being available to meet up with groups, meet up with kids on the side about about healthcare, about be open to do the public speaking. I think
Sure.
for me, I am not a public speaker by any means, as you can tell, but it's being available there
I
and
like it.
challenge yourself and trust in your gut.
What has been the most influential resource you have found in your career?
I would say having a family that knows your crazy hours, understands that you're going to miss things, but then also the friendships that you build across the way, and be it starting with coaches to parents to other professions, other professionals, to our to the athletic trainers that you come across, and some of those you can just trust and give them a call. Say, hey, I need 20 minutes of your time. Call, or hey, let's meet up. Let's meet up for breakfast, and to chill, open up, pray, and moving forward with that, and just having that group of the core group of people that you can trust and confide in.
As an AT in your role, how do you take care of yourself?
Wow. Um, know when to say no, or you know,
I like that one.
yeah, and okay, yeah, there may be a practice going on, but they're okay. Coaches know how to, you know, they should know how to take care of things. If you have a family event and it's within reason, they okay, hey, I have to step away. You're on your own today. And just knowing that and um pick up other events. I know this sounds contradicting, but um I've we're fortunate to work with Ambassador Soccer. Um, pick up those events and seeing those athletes. It's different pace, different. Go work a game for 2.5 hours, and not the same old routine. It's just that for me, it's I shouldn't say it's a feel good thing, but it's nice to see the different change of pace and different scenery.
That makes sense.
And it sounds strange, but I know fortunate with University Hospital, they do a lot of extra coverage and stuff. Looking forward to working Pan Am Games in July. We're doing some coverage with that. So it's again good change of pace. And then other things again, when I keep saying know when to say no and step away. It's okay to take vacation.
Right.
It's over spring break. We didn't have much, so I said we went down and did a family trip over spring break. And yeah, there's possible events, but in Northeast Ohio and in March, it's going to be either snowed out or rained out, and a lot of it was. So they can handle it.
For sure. If you could change or eliminate one thing, could be a modality, a common practice, a mindset, or anything of your choosing in athletic training, what would it be?
The It's the old adage of we're not trainers. We're not, people coming up says, "Oh, give me a diet plan, give me a workout plan." You just you just stand around on the sideline, you can just do that. No, we're healthcare providers. Um, it's education.
Yeah,
It's going to be ongoing, but we need to realize ourselves as healthcare providers. And
absolutely. Last question then.
yeah,
What does being an athletic trainer mean to you?
the ability to take somebody and seeing again, as I said before, at their highest and at their lowest, and everywhere in between, finding finding ways to get them back doing what they love to do and why they're in this aspect they're in, and being an injury, being playing aspect, or even just um, a worker being physically active, what they need to get back after an injury, uh, helping them cope physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally on how they can improve. Just
I like it. If people wanted to reach out to you, connect, follow you, what would be the best places for them to do
um,
that?
I'm on Facebook. Just look up my name, Dave Rao, and I can't remember my handles on Twitter X, but search Dave Rao. I think one of them Dave Rao VFAT, and the other one is just my name. Um, Email you can go dave1895 uh, at gmail.com. If you have any questions or backlash concerns, reach out. I'm open. So when I speak to the health classes at school, I say I'm an open book. Ask away.
There you go. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, sharing your story, everything that you've been through personally, and family as an extension of the
Yep.
personally, and just sharing how that's impacted your life as an athletic trainer. And look forward to hopefully connecting at one of these regional meetings here in the future.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode with Dave Rauch. We really appreciate you checking it out. Dave, especially for reaching out. So please, if you have a story you want to tell, please reach out. We'd love to hear it from you. So, Dave, thanks again. It's incredible just to hear what people have in their lives and what they do and how they turn that into something bigger. So thank you again for your willingness to share that story. As always, thank you to Mueller Sports Medicine for supporting us and supporting the profession. Can't thank them enough, as we always do. If you're interested in journaling, start of the new school year, need something to maybe help keep you on track, or just a new habit to maybe help maximize what your goals are for the year, check out the AT Daily Journal. You can get a free 14-day download at clinicallypress.org/shop. Just go through the checkout, no purchase information required, i.e. no credit card, or find it on Amazon. Just search for the Athletic Training Journal and you should be able to find it there. We appreciate you all listening, and we will catch you next episode.